Good morning. Good morning. Let me put this over here. Good morning. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here as I do all the things. All right, let me make sure. Am I live over here? Yay. All right, now I'm going to pull this up on my phone. You guys know how this works. You've been here enough. Whoops. Morning. As you get here, make sure that. All right. Perfect. All right, and I just realized, well, wait a minute. I need to get this out of the way. What the heck? Comments. Okay, there we go. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Carrie. Great to have you here. I am putting my stuff in the comments here so that I can share with you guys. So I'm excited about this morning. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and I don't remember the name of the podcast. I'll have to go back and look, but he was interviewing Seth Godin, and he's got a new book that I'm wanting to dive into. But he said a couple of things that just had these different sparks going on. Yay, Carrie. So glad you're back. And so all of this came from just one little thing that he said and some of the thoughts that I had been having yesterday. And it's like they all come together. You know, I'm always amazed with the synchronicities, and why I am amazed with them, I do not know, because it seems to be a constant occurrence when you're paying attention, right? So let me go ahead and of course, when I get over to the journal prompt, it's a little long, but let's see. Let me take that off. Let's see if this whole thing will pop up here. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to get right to it. Our affirmation for today is: today I choose to play a new game, a winning game, where I am resilient, happy, confident, and passionate. And I embrace the joy of being unstoppable. And you know, we've talked about all of these things at different times, but something he said, and I don't even remember what it was that he said, that had me thinking about another book that I read quite often, and it's by Florence Scovel Shinn, and it's The Game of Life and How to Play It, right? And so we can choose to play a game that we create the rules. We can choose to play a game that's fun and exciting, or we can choose to play a game that someone else is always making all the rules and that we feel disheartened or uncomfortable about, or things are hard. We can choose to play that game too. And there's nothing wrong with whichever one you choose, because you know we have that ability to make the choice of how we want to live our lives. And not to say that by making this choice that everything's always magical and easy, right? It can all be magical, but maybe not always easy. And it's not always fun because, like I've said many, many times, that opportunities a lot of times start with an obstacle. And so the reason I say that is because if you will look at all the amazing inventions in this world, all came about because somebody had a problem. Somebody had an issue of something that they couldn't seem to do, and they created something to make it easier. So if they hadn't had the problem, if they hadn't had the discomfort from trying to do something, they never would have had a reason to create the thing that solved it, right? And most of us are in our entrepreneurial journey because there was something that we were doing that we wanted to change. And so it's playing a new game where not only is it a winning game where you're resilient, happy, confident, and passionate, but it's one that you can look at all the obstacles that have shown up in your life. And if you're human, you've got them. And look at them as a golden nugget that helped to propel you to the place that you are today. And I know I talk about that one a lot, because when we sit in despair of the things that have gone on in our lives, and we use that as an excuse for why things are not where we want them to be, we're just perpetuating the thing that was holding us back then, right? And so I just want you to be open to playing an entirely new game, a winning game, right? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to play a new winning game? A game where you're in charge, you're unstoppable, and you have happiness, confidence, and passion in the things that you do every day. Because we can choose. Yes, Carrie, yes. And it just makes me excited to think that I can change what's going on in here and in here, and then I can change the game that I'm playing. And it's kind of like, in the Matrix, red pill, blue pill, you get to choose, right? You can either, and I swear I can't remember which one's the red one and which one's the blue one, so just forgive me for not knowing that. But you can continue to go on living your life like it is, not realizing that you have control, or that somebody else is playing the game for you, is basically it, right? Or you can take the other pill where you are in control and you're no longer blinded by what society or other people tell you is your life. We get to choose. And so, what do you choose? I wish I could remember which one was red and which one was blue. So since I can't, if somebody tell me, if you know, I need to look that up. It's like every time I watch the movie, I think, oh, I'm going to remember that. Nope, I don't remember. Today, I choose to play a new game. A winning game. Now, let's think about it. There's Monopoly, there's the game of life, there's Clue, there's all kinds of games out there, right? So right now, all of a sudden, I'm thinking, what would the title of your game be? The game of your life. What would it be called? Good morning, Lynn. This is my mantra today and moving forward. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad that resonated with you. And as a matter of fact, your friend did request to be in the group, but she didn't answer the question. So I sent her a message to answer the questions so that I could get her in. So if you want to reach out to her today and make sure she got that message, because I don't know, since we're not friends on Facebook, it might have gone into her other folder thing, But think about it. You're playing this new game of your life, the winning game. You're resilient, happy, confident, and passionate. And you're embracing the joy of being totally unstoppable. What is the name of your game? Just ponder on that one today. And then let us know what you decide. I'm going to be, because that just came to me right now about what would the name be, because I hadn't thought about that. But that's going to be fun to find out what people's games are. The name of people's game is. We've done the thing before where we named our what our superhero name would be. So, it's kind of the same type of thing, but a little bit different. So just imagine if you will, that it's a board game. Good morning, Carmen. That the game of your life is a board game, and you got this board out. What do the little pieces look like? What are the squares? What's the premise of the game? Is it kind of like Monopoly, where there's a free space in the middle and you have the little cards, or is it like Clue, where you have I don't know. Just think about it, and maybe even play a little game with it and just visualize what would that game look like. I mean, I don't know. It sounded kind of fun to me. Today I'm going to say when I've got time later today, I'm going to play with this one for sure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt, and I'll be honest, it's a little long, so it's going to be in two pieces, and I will just have to tell you what the second piece is. And then remember, what I'll do as soon as I finish, I will go into the description of this video, and I will put the full thing so you'll know what it is written down. All right, so here we go. Journal prompt. If life is a game and today you're rewriting the rules, what does your winning game look like? Well, I guess I did put it in here. No wonder it came to my mind, right? How funny is that? Oh, I snorted. How does it feel to play with resilience, happiness, confidence, and passion? I mean, let's just really think about that. And maybe you've experienced a lot of that at different times in your life. One of the things that I do sometimes is to help somebody to get into that feeling is I have them just close their eyes. And if you want to, you can do that now as long as you're not driving, but close your eyes. And I want you to imagine if there was ever a time in your life that you felt resilient, happy, confident, and filled with passion. If there's a time in your life, and sometimes we have to go way back to find it, and maybe some people it's been very recent, it doesn't matter, but go back to that time in your life to where that was how you felt. Where were you? Keeping your eyes closed so that you can really tap into that feeling. Who was there? What was going on? Were there certain sounds that you could hear? Could you feel something? Were you inside? Were you outside? Just see if you can tap back into that being immersed in that feeling, that space, whatever was going on, and how it felt. And then just bring that back into your now and your memory bank so that anytime you feel like, I don't know, my game's not working right now, whatever it is, then you can just tap back into that feeling that was there. And it could be just a time when you were a little kid and it was Christmas. Who knows? I don't know. And if you can't think of anything right now, then definitely when you sit in your silent space, let it come up and just really feel into it. And one of the things that helps me is I'll create an anchor to be able to bring it up at any time. So when you really immerse yourself into it, sometime today, take your earlobe and just squeeze your earlobe really, really hard, and then let it go. Keep remembering, make it brighter and brighter and brighter. Squeeze your earlobe really, really hard, remembering it, and just imagine that squeezing your earlobe is making things brighter and more accessible in your memories. And do that several times to where you're squeezing your earlobe. And then what will happen is that memory will be attached to that squeezing of your earlobe. And then as you go through your day, play with it. And just when you're doing something, just pause for a moment, squeeze your earlobe, and bring that back up as much as you can. And keep playing with that today. And then for the next week, just any time you feel that you need a little bit of boost of that feeling, squeeze your earlobe and bring it back. All right. So then the next part is dive in, list the moves you would make, the challenge you'll tackle, and how you'll celebrate every little win along the way. So it really helps to look at your winning game, right? What is it? What is it going to be, right? And then list the moves you'll make. So the little action steps that you could take, right? What's an obstacle that might come up that you would need to tackle? And those of you that are in the Stacy verse, you know it is like, what are your excuses, right? What are the things that are going to hold you back? Those are the things that you'll tackle, right? So you'll list the moves that you'll make, the steps that you'll take. You'll list the things that you think could possibly hold you back from doing those things. And then you're going to make a little list of how you'll celebrate every little win along the way. So once you figure that out, it'll be so much easier to design in your imagination or write it down. What does your game board look like? What does your game look like? Maybe it's not a board at all. Maybe it's a card game. I don't know. The one that comes up for me is a board game. All righty. I will mention it to her. Okay, good, Lynn, good. Because if she's a friend of yours, I want her in here. So how are you feeling about this game that you're going to create? Because remember, we are in charge of what we do in life. And hello over on Instagram. Thank you for joining here. And say hello if you want to join in the conversation. I would love to know what you feel would be your game of life as well. So I'm going to go back to our affirmation because it's so good. It's funny. I was talking to someone yesterday, and where did she say she lives? She lives in Arizona, and I don't know where she's from, but she lives in Arizona. And she asked me, she said, "Where do you live?" And I said, "Georgia." She said, "Oh, I thought I recognized that Southern accent." I said, "What accent?" I don't even realize I have one. Until every now and then I'll say something, and I'll just share real quick. I dated a guy one time, and I think he was from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area. And we were, he was driving. I was in the passenger seat. We were going down the road. And he said, "I just love your accent." And I said, "My accent?" I said, "I don't have an accent." He said, "You just told me to take a ride at the light." I didn't even know I said that way until he pointed it out. And I do take a ride at the light. So it was just funny. I just thought I would share that. But our affirmation for today is, I choose to play today, and every day I can choose to play a new game, a winning game where I am resilient, happy, confident, and passionate. I embrace the joy of being unstoppable. Unstoppable. And that goes to that saying, remember, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Oh, I'm just going to share this real quick. I saw something this morning, And I wish I'd taken a picture of it, but it was something that somebody shared, and I didn't want to take the picture and lose the fact of who had posted it. It was just, you know how we post little phrases and stuff every time, all the time on Facebook and everything. And I want to go back and find it. I kind of wish I had taken a picture of it because maybe their name was on it. I have no idea. But anyway, the premise of the thing was to just pay attention. And what if I told you I would give you $10,000 today? But the catch was today's the last day of your life. You wouldn't take it, would you? So what they said, which I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I love the way they did that, is and I would say they, because I don't know if it's a he or she or who it was, because it was a fleeting thing, right, that I saw. And they said, so that lets you know that the value of your time, $10,000 for your day. So how valuable is the game of your life? Right? And it makes you really, really think, if my life and my game is that valuable, why would I ever play small? Why would I ever be silent about the gifts and talents that I have? And why would I do things that feel like it's hard as hell and uncomfortable? And not to say you never step out of your comfort zone. Hell, you have to step out of your comfort zone to keep growing, right? But to get into a something that you hate, there are people that work their entire lives in a job that they hate, and they're just waiting till they can retire and stop doing it. And don't let that be us, right? Don't let that be you. Your life is so valuable, and it's fleeting when you think of it. And the older we get, the more fleeting we feel and know that it is. Yeah, so true. And the thing is that we don't ever know when it's going to happen, right? My children's father passed away at 43 from a massive heart attack. Thought he was going to be around a long time. I used to tease him because his grandparents on both sides were in their 90s, and some of them had even gotten into their hundreds before they passed, right? And I used to say, well, I better really like you because you're going to be around for a very long time. No, not true. We never know. So live it. Play your game to win. But make it fun, make it happy, be passionate, be joyful. So one of my challenges for you today, not only is it to create your game, and I don't know what the weather's like wherever you are. So if it's a monsoon or if it's a snowstorm, whatever it is, just take this with whatever it is. But I challenge you today to I'd like to say how many minutes, but I'm not going to. Take some time to go outside and walk and just be you. Breathe in the air. Be open to the universe, to God, to just be, and let your joyful, playful spirit out. Most of the time we're holding it in and we're doing things that we have to do to live a life, to have our things, right? But take some time today to just internalize this game. Go outside. The things that will come to you when you're outside, just walking with no agenda other than just being you. Just enjoy the fact that you're alive, you can walk. If you can walk, if you can't walk, then however, I don't want to assume because my one of my favorite people, my niece, she's in an electric wheelchair. She cannot walk. So if she goes for a walk, she's in her chair, right? So the thing is that wherever you are, take some time to be outside and just allow. If everybody laughs at you or says something, it doesn't make a crap, right? But just at some point, put your hands up and say, I am open to everything in this new game that I'm playing. Do that. See what comes up. All right, now I'm going to go to the journal prompt. If life is a game and today you're rewriting the rules, what does your winning game look like? What are the rules of your game? And like I said, it would be so fun to almost visualize what your game would look like, whether it's a card game, whether it's dice, whether it's a board game, whatever it may be. What is it for you to get this visual? And the thing about visual things is, like, if you do a visual like that, let's say you do a visual of a board game and you look at what are the list of moves that you want to make. You can actually have it almost like it's a vision board. Okay, let's do it that way. It's a vision board, and you make it as a board game, and each little square or whatever on there is one of the tasks that you're going to be doing, right? And see what moves you need to make to get to that task. See where that task leads you to make more moves, and just play with it. Make it fun, make it exciting. Be confident, be passionate. Just dive into making it something that you can, anytime during the day, you can pull on your ear, get that emotion feeling, but then you can also in your mind get this visual of what your game looks like. And it makes it more fun to do the next move, to move your pieces of the game, right? How does it feel to play with resilience, happiness, confidence, and passion? And those were just the ones that I thought of as I was writing this stuff down. So maybe there's some other feelings about you that you want to have in there. Put them in. Just play with it. Then dive in, listing the moves you'll make. Hold on, my phone is ringing. List the moves you'll make, the challenges, which means the steps you'll take, the challenges you'll tackle, which means the excuses that you will have, or this is the way I interpret it. That's the way I meant it, which you can change it to whatever feels right to you. But it was, what are the excuses that are going to come up that will prevent you from doing these tasks that you said you were going to do? What are they? What are the challenges you'll tackle? And then how will you celebrate every little win along the way? Because we do all these things and we want to celebrate too, right? All right. So just one more time, I'm going to go back to the affirmation and make sure you put this on your sticky note, your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere that you will see it today, on a piece of paper stuck to your fridge, if that's where you're going to be today. If you're going to be going in and out of the kitchen, which if in my house, that's the way it goes, in and out of the kitchen, getting water out of the fridge, putting a little milk in your tea or your coffee, the whole thing, right? Many, many times that refrigerator is open during the day. Put it there. Today, I choose to play a new game, a winning game where I am resilient, happy, confident, and passionate. I embrace the joy of being unstoppable. Unstoppable. Because you are if you choose that, right? And then our journal prompt. And so, like I say all the time, get your notebook out or your journal out, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. Just write it out. And then spend 10 minutes in total silence. Set a timer. Just be silent. Focusing on your breath, just relaxing and quieting the chatter that goes on in your mind. And when you can quiet that chatter, what happens is that's when you hear God's voice. That's when you have the intuitive hits. The subconscious mind starts giving you information. It doesn't happen until you quiet your daily chatter in your mind. So then when timer goes off, you open your eyes, then you start writing everything out. No judgment, just pour it out, everything you can get out. And the reason I like to have you put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompts, because they all go together for one thing. But the other thing is when you come back in a few months and you look at this journal prompt and you see the things that you were going to do, the tasks that you were going to take, the looking at how you were going to celebrate, you can look to see, yes, I did that. I did that. And I've gotten so much further in my game now because I did that. And the reason I love for you to do this where you can really go back and look is because we're changing every day. We lose track of how far we've come. And I want you to remember, not that you were in a bad place or whatever. I don't know where you're at now. But what I want you to do is have even more to celebrate because you can see how far you've come, how much you've grown, how you have taken control of your game of life. I want you to be able to see it. Because what happens is as we're changing and growing, we forget where we were, how far we've come. And then we can almost judge ourselves because we haven't gone to where we wanted to be because we completely lose sight of how far we've come. And I want you to be able to celebrate every step of the way. Dive in, list the moves you'll make, the challenges you'll tackle, and how you'll celebrate every little win along the way. So I would love for you to share in the group or send me a direct message, whatever you want to do, whatever feels like it's good for you to share with me, share with everyone. You're welcome, Carrie. What is the game of your life called? What does it look like? Just play with this today. Have fun. Create you a vision board of it, whatever you want to do, but make it something special for you because it's all about you. So you have an amazing day. And if you're someone who's watching in a different area, because I know I have some people on Instagram right now that are watching. So if you would like to be part of the Stand Up and Stand Out community, which is where all this originates from, all you have to do is go to VickiPoole.com, VICKIEPOOLE.com, join the community. Now, when you do that, you will be asked to answer 3 questions. And you have to answer those questions to become a member. I right now have 9 people sitting in there that haven't answered the questions. So I've sent them messages, and those that I look at the date, and it depends. I try to give them 2 weeks to come back in because, we're busy people. And so if I'm getting to this to say, if you want to be in the group, make sure you answer the questions. And just a quick reminder before we go, that Monday we have the amazing Michelle McCowan Campbell is going to be our guest expert at our 2 o'clock Eastern time live session. And she is going to be talking about how awesome you are and how to dive into your awesomeness. And I'm telling you, she is amazing. She's the friend that, for those that have known me for a while, she's the friend that I went and met, where we went to the Blue Ridge Mountains and stayed in a cabin for a few days, working on writing our book, which we're still in the process of doing. And she's going to be sharing. She is a keynote speaker. She works with. She goes to schools and talks. She goes to corporate places and talks. She does so much because it is an amazing process that she takes people through, and she's going to be sharing with you. And I can't wait for her to be here. And so if you would love to be feeling more awesome and knowing what that means for you, definitely be there, if at all possible, at 2 p.m. Eastern on Monday. And the event is actually in the events section, so you can sign up there so you get the reminders. But I will be sharing the link to the Zoom on that day, just to let you know. And so if you're watching the replay, put #replay, share along with us what your game of life is. And if you only want to share that this meant something to you, that's fine. Just be able to pour something out for yourself, right? All right, so I have to pop off here now, but you have an amazing day playing a completely new game. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and have a good one. Mwah. Let's play our games.